Hey, folks. In today's episode, Robert and I give you our impressions of Pandemic Fall of Rome. Stick around.
You're listening to the Beans and Dice Podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. In today's episode, Rob and I are going to give you our quick impressions of Pandemic Fall of Rome.
Yep.
Not a lot to say that we don't like about it.
Right.
I think it's mostly going to be
we
liked it.
Pretty positive review, yeah.
Yeah, this one's pretty positive.
Yeah.
I think we got a three things each of us are going to bring up to talk about that we liked. We'll just go back and forth on them.
Yep.
I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to say the history.
Yeah.
The historical nature of this game right off the bat is what drew me into purchasing it.
Yep.
And the desire to play it. I love Roman history. Growing up in the church and learning about the time of Christ and all the time around the Roman Empire has always drawn me to that theme.
Yep.
And this game fills that so well.
Knew that'd be up your alley. Yep, absolutely.
And the artwork invokes it. The card design invokes it. The beautiful map just invokes historical theme to Rome.
Yep, and it's a battling game, a war game, so you like that theme as well. So you're not fighting diseases like you are in regular Pandemic. You're out there beating up on some barbarians. So
actually beating up on people.
That's got to appeal to you, yeah.
What'd you like?
For me, I'd say number one is the familiarity. I'm going to try to stay away from comparing it to regular Pandemic too much, but the mechanics in the game are rock solid. I mean, this is Pandemic. There's 80% of it is going to be familiar to anybody who's played Pandemic before, and that other 20% is they did a really good job of suiting it to the time and to some of the ideas of the mechanics in the game, switching them just enough to change it up from regular Pandemic that it gives you definitely new things to think about, a new way to attack the game. I've played the regular Pandemic a lot of times, probably at least 20 times, and so this really is a new flavor. It gives you something new to think about, but again, it's the same rock solid mechanics. It comes down to the end almost every time you play. There's that tension that you're so close to winning, so close to losing, and so it really is the thrill of victory when you pull one out, and then when you lose, it's like, oh, we were so close, yes. Let's reset it and do it again. So yeah, that's what I really like about it.
I'll add too, for me, the battling mechanism of this game, right? Yeah. You spoke a little bit about it.
Yeah.
In regular Pandemic, you're going to be curing things, right? It just happens when you do it.
Yep.
In this game, you get these beautiful dice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you get dice and dice.
Oh, dice.
And what's great is that when you go battle something, you're not 100% certain on the outcome of it, right? Yep. So although Pandemic is already a hard game, so adding a little bit more randomness to it does add some more difficulty to the game. I get that.
Yeah.
But as a war gamer myself, it brings me joy to know that we can't 100% fully plan out exactly how a turn will go.
Sure.
Because for me, it makes us have to be agile.
Yeah.
It makes us have to iterate and change our plans, which I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I enjoy that little bit of addition of randomness through the combat dice.
Absolutely. Next for me, I think, is going to be the components and the artwork, even just the board itself. I mean, it's a nice linen-finished board. It's got a nice texture to it. It's a bright board, even though the map of Europe itself is kind of a brown, just plain map. But it's got some topography on it, some mountains and things, just slight touches. But the cards,
it's almost like a map you would draw like in Dungeons and Dragons.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you could almost sit down and sketch it out.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep, exactly. And then all the wooden pieces, the wooden bits, they went back from. I know they had some of the newer versions of Pandemic with plastic, but they went back to, again, closer to the time era. Yeah, everything's wooden in this game. There's nice painted miniatures. There are still some cubes in the game, which makes me feel comfortable as a Euro gamer. But then you've got some nicely cut wooden parts as well. The artwork on some of the cards is really, really nice. I wasn't crazy about the artwork on the character cards. You had mentioned that maybe they are more like oil paintings or something. They're kind of faded out paintings, which I wasn't crazy about that. But on the event cards, very nice artwork. The artwork on the city cards on both sides, actually the city on the side where it shows you where the city is and some of the artwork.
The player cards, yeah.
The player cards, right.
You got the Roman shield on one side, so it's that red, it looks like a Roman shield. It's literally designed to look like a Roman shield.
Yep, absolutely. And then nice bright red and gold colors on there. And again, linen finish on the card. These are real high-quality cards. They feel nice to hold. They feel sturdy enough when you shuffle them that they're not going to bend and break and wear on the edges as well. So, yeah.
And the opposite side of it is are the barbarian cards are barbarian shield.
Right.
And it's It's got that kind of a Celtic looking drawing to it with the different symbols of the different tribes that are in this game. So it feels like something a barbarian would draw on their shield when they go to war. So it just kind of gives you that war themey feel. I'm with you on the artwork.
So with all of just pretty much all the Pandemics, they really paid attention to the aesthetics and the components. So that's nice.
I think the last one that I'm going to bring up has to do with the dice, but it's not just the dice. Each dice has a symbol of the Roman eagle. And the Roman eagle, it applies to the character you're playing. And each character, when they're battling, if they roll that symbol, get to proc the ability of that symbol on their character. And why is that awesome to me? It's awesome to me because each character is given a flavor using that symbol. So, for example, when I played Regina Foderata, she had the eagle symbol that allowed her to convert barbarians into legionnaires. And because she's not a Roman herself, she's an ally of the Rome. She's a former barbarian being used as an ally of Rome, converting barbarians into Romans. I had Magister Militum, and he just killed 2 barbarians whenever he rolled the eagle symbol. And even better for me was when you had 2 characters you had, each of them, whenever they rolled that symbol in battle, it was a detriment. It was not a good thing. So that it really evoked the desire to say, hey, these characters are cool, but they're not fighters. And if you use them as fighters, you may pay the price.
We automatically assumed by that symbol, that special ability of your leader, of your character, that was automatically going to be a good thing. When I rolled the dice for the first time and rolled one of those eagles and looked at it and saw that it was a negative, it was like, oh, okay, I should not be fighting with this character. So
she should not be on the front lines.
Exactly. So she had to back off and do her support thing. So that was really unique.
The way they themed out these characters with the use of the battle dice on that eagle symbol, to me, it stood out as just so clean. As a way to do it.
Really cool way. Lastly, the thing I had was just the events themselves. Again, similar to regular Pandemic, you've got event cards that are mixed into the player deck that you're going to draw as you go along. But they did a really good, again, thematically putting it into this time period, that those events allowed you to do things that were, again, 80% similar to the old original Pandemic, but about 20% of them were new concept, new ways to either move people or manipulate either the dice or manipulate the deck and find new ways to attack the game. So that was...
They amped it up a notch with the decline track on each of those event cards.
Absolutely. So there on each event card, normally in Pandemic, you get an event card, you play it, it's got a thing that it does, and that's it. You discard it and you're done. In this one, you can choose either from the basic event, or they all have a better event that you can choose to do by taking a penalty of putting one of your declining the Roman Empire, I guess. Taking it one step closer to one of the in-game loss conditions, but you can take that risk. It's one more decision you can make in the game, and you can, instead of drawing 2 bonus cards, you can draw 4 bonus cards this turn by either playing the regular event for the 2 bonus cards or taking 4 with the amped up even better event. So yeah, again, that just one more decision in the game, one more thing to think about. And I would say that takes it probably one tiny step further than regular Pandemic, as far as Pandemic's been known for years and years as a gateway game. I would still say this is probably gateway, but this does amp it up just one half little step there. Gives you a little more to think about, and so you may think about maybe this being the second game for a new hobby gamer to get them into it.
And I think the one thing that we talked about that negative-wise that we can think of on this game at all was just the difficulty of pronouncing the cities.
Oh, yeah. The city names on the board are some of them are
historically accurate, very difficult for us to say.
Roman, Latin, and it's about half of them were unpronounceable to me.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So we stumbled through. We made up names for a few of them. We would say the first consonants, and
we knew what was going to happen.
Exactly. We knew where we were. So
what's great is, as Pandemic always does, each of the barbarian cards is also going to include a geographical marker, a map to say not only is this the name, but this is a specific location
this is where
on
it's
the
at.
board. So it makes it easy to find it. It's just saying it was tough.
Help you a little with your geography, not modern geography. It'll be ancient geography, but still.
You never know. I mean, when in Rome.
Right, Roma. When in Roma.
When in Roma. So on that is our quick impressions of the game of Pandemic, Fall of Rome by Matt Leacock and Paolo Mori, published by Z-Man Games. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And we're the Beans and Dice Podcast, a podcast about
how we game.
Thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.